Hey everyone, how you doing? It's episode 3 of the PDG Podcast. It's myself, Peter Doak. Looking forward to telling you all about what's going on in our world. We started our day today with a list. Had about maybe 12 things on it to do, and pretty much got through the whole day. There were a number of customer things to get through, but a couple of the things were specifically for us in PDG to do, and one of them was our team review. So what that is with Anthony coming on board to PDG Advertising in the last couple of months, I wanted to install a monthly catch-up where we can talk about how Anthony's doing, how the business is doing, and not just that we can look ahead to having more people in the business and working with more people and having monthly catch-ups with them as well. It can feel a little bit over the top whenever it's just two of you working together in the same office, but I think it's really important, and it's an opportunity for us to catch up and make sure that we're on the same page, and I think that's really important as a business. I've been in businesses where monthly catch-ups have happened and they feel better than the businesses that I've been where they don't happen. And I think that monthly is too long to let anything go without bringing it up or raising it. So they're not in place of having conversations in between. It's just a real place to talk and go through things that we want to do. So it was really good. We paired it up with some lunch from a place called Time Deli in Belfast. It was really nice, and we were able to go through, what our plans are for the next 3 months. One of the things that we were talking about, Anthony's very heavy on design and working that. We save a lot of stuff to the cloud. We've got like Google Drive and things like that. But we were talking about getting a physical space to get those design files held, and I think that's something that we're going to be looking at very soon, to get an external hard drive or some sort of a system that allows us to physically keep files. Something that I'm going to look into and figure out whether or not it's the right thing to do or not, because I don't know. I think keeping things in the cloud means you can access them from anywhere. I think as long as things aren't localized on one machine, I think the principle of disaster recovery is covered with that, I think. But that's something that we'll work out in time. So again, today and it's likely to be a common feature of this podcast, that we were checking up on our adverts for our customers, and one of our relatively new customers, we're installing some remarketing adverts for them on Facebook. So whenever you go to their website, these adverts then show up on your news feeds and elsewhere across the internet to entice you back to the website. Specifically in this case, to draw you back in order to get your email, to get access to your email, in order to remarket again by email. It's a very successful way of bringing in those revenue dollars for our customers. But in this case, the remarketing adverts weren't working. So the Facebook account, the Facebook pixel that we installed, is very new. It's been collecting data for maybe 15 days or so. It says it has an audience of about 40,000 in it right now, and you would expect that to be quite easy to upload into Facebook, but something's going on with it that means that we're putting the ads out and we're getting them approved, and the audience is created and what's called ready, but it's not actually firing. And so what we did this time was we have a line into Facebook to their chat system for business resource help. Everybody really has that with their if you Google Facebook business resources and you're tenacious enough, you can find the chat support in there. And talking with a very nice support person called Nina. It's likely that they're actually down in Dublin where they're providing that chat from, but I don't know that. And she was able to tell me that the audience is still updating. It takes like 72 hours. We'd only pushed the adverts live yesterday. So we're just waiting to see what happens with that advert set. And we'll see if it can pull in some great emails and then some great results for that customer. But yeah, another day of checking adverts, finding out they're not working, and doing what we can to adjust to make sure that they do work. So today we had a really interesting discovery for one of our customers, and on one side it's really tragic. On the other side, it's a good thing. We're doing an audit of the emails. So a lot of what we do involves getting people to a destination online, like a website, and asking for their data, asking for their information so that we can retarget them later on. I'm sure I make it sound really clinical as I talk about these things, but the idea is we're doing it for people that have an interest in the thing that we're selling. So a great example is if you're interested in travel and you want to know the best prices of cruise ships, and we can provide you value and our customer can provide you value by showing you offers on cruise ships and things like that. We will seek you out, get you to the website and get you connected up and signed up so that we can then remarket to you in the future. That's a lot of what we do. So because that's such a lot of what we do, we see so many different setups of that process, and that gives us, I feel, a level of experience on how that whole thing runs. And fundamentally, there's one thing that happens that we're always astounded by when it happens, but we've seen it so many times now that we're not surprised by it. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, whether you can be astounded and not surprised, but it's how it is. It happened first in a business that I worked in years ago, a very large business, and we found out that whenever people were landing on this was a B2B business, and it had a website. The website was set up so that if you wanted to download a case study of how the business works and how the business would do for you or for other customers, it asked you for your email address. And the idea behind the email address is that if you are going to the website and you're interested in what they do, that then someone in the sales team can reach out and talk to you. So we saw this happen. We thought, well, this is great. So we're catching email addresses. Let's take advantage of that and let's send out a mail to the people that have signed up. So we asked, so how regularly do we contact these people? And interestingly, the person in charge of it didn't know how often we emailed the people, and that can happen in a big organization. So that can be something that happens where someone doesn't know something. So she goes to find out through the email marketing team, and they're like, "Yeah, I didn't know that." They said we didn't know that we actually collected emails there on that part of the website, and that raised alarm bells with the person that I had asked, and then whenever they reported back to me, it raised alarm bells with me, and we're like, okay, so we've been collecting emails and nobody's been emailing, and again, that happens as well. So then we asked where the emails go to. So what that means is you go to the development team, and you ask the development team, whenever someone puts in an email address there, where does it end up? Where does it go? And they didn't know, and they weren't able to find out. And what they came back with was, we have now started collecting them, but any email addresses that have come in have not been recorded, have not been kept, and have not really gone anywhere. And that is shocking, and it was shocking for the first time and surprising the first time. But I have seen this over the last 10 years, maybe 8 or 9 times where this has been happening, where companies and businesses have set up an email capture system on their website, and people are putting in their data and it's just not going anywhere. It's not even that it's not secure, which it probably isn't secure, but it's more that it's just not even getting to somewhere where you can use it. And that's why I feel that that's tragic. And this happened today, where we figured out that not so much that email addresses weren't going into somewhere on the pop-up on the website, the email addresses were being captured, which is good, but they weren't connecting up to the right place in order to allow automations and newsletters to go out to these people. So they were kind of being siloed off somewhere and ignored. And that is a big deal. That is something that we need to rectify immediately, because whenever we see that happening, it cuts out a massive part of the customer journey. And I feel we lose people because of that. And it kind of undermines everything that we're doing. So whenever I said it's tragic and a good thing, tragic that it's happening, but great that we can identify and say, look, that's not working right, and we need to change that in order to get you to, as a customer, to the next level of what you're doing. So, I mean, the thing that's in my mind is every single email is important. So in this case, it was something like 100 emails that were lost in the last 2-week period, because something about the connection between the website and MailChimp was broken. But that's important. It's a lot of people. Imagine if those 200 people were standing in a room. You would certainly want to market to them, and if you knew they were interested in what you had to offer, and it was just going number. It's a big deal. So it's something that we flagged very quickly, and that I'm looking forward to getting that connected back up properly with the third party that's providing that support, and seeing how we can add value to that list and that audience, and piece together that customer journey as well. So yeah, a very interesting, surprising and shocking part of the day today. Something else that's been happening is we do a lot of spending on Google Ads, and it's not often that something surprises us, but this did today and has been doing for the last couple of weeks. We've got a customer who sells digestive health products in America, and the adverts that we run are on Google, and we also do email marketing as well for this customer. But on Google, you can create, retargeting adverts that retarget out to your audience that have visited your page but have not purchased. So that segment of people, that's who we're targeting with these adverts. And what was happening was we were setting a budget of $20 per day. Now, what Google does is it flexes up to double your budget at times. I'm not sure why it even does that. I'm not sure why that's a good thing for the customer. But on any given day, it's never going to go past $40. And across a month, it's never going to go over the overall monthly budget of $20 per day. It flexes up and down to suit your budget, to make sure you're not losing opportunities, like it cutting itself off whenever you could have made some of the opportunities that you had. To take it even a step back, the idea is that people type in stuff and it clocks up a charge every time it hits your keyword, and every time that they click on your advert or take the action you want. So in retargeting, it's slightly different because it's display advertising. So it's whenever someone sees your advert or clicks on your advert. But what was happening with these ads is it was not just doubling the spend on a day, it was like multiplying it by 50 and spending, maybe $500 on any given day. And it's really alarming because, we're trusted to keep that budget at the right level. Alarming to the customer, alarming to us, thinking if we're doing something wrong here. And then we've gone back and forth. This is happening maybe once every 3 days or so. And as soon as it happens, obviously you turn off the ads. We turned off the ads going, this is not good. What's happening here? So we went back to Google, again, the chat support system, and said, look, this is something that's happening. It's blasting out our budget out of the water, and we don't understand why. And their explanation was, well, sometimes Google flexes way up, but it doesn't charge you over 2x spend, and across the month it won't even charge you above your overall budget. It gives you, Google gives you bonus spend some days whenever things are going well, and that doesn't really work for us, because what we're doing for our client is saying, you need this amount of money to make this amount back, and you need this amount of money to get in this amount of emails, and this amount of money to get this amount of clicks, and we need things to be relatively noughts and ones, and when I say noughts and ones, I mean, in my mind that makes sense, but when I say nuts and bolts, I mean clear and not confusing and logical. And there's nothing logical about a massive spend. Now there's a difference between build spend and visible spend on AdWords, and I don't know if it's just that we don't understand it properly yet, but I've gone through this with a number of friends of ours that work on Google AdWords, and they say they've never seen anything like that. That's definitely some sort of a glitch, some sort of a problem, because it's consistently happening. I've went through with some specialists that we've hired out to look at this and see, why is this happening? Because it's skewing all of our reports, and it's not giving us an accurate picture of what we're spending. Even though the customer isn't being charged more, it's just throwing a lot of confusion, unwanted confusion into the mix of an already pretty complex process of trying to grapple with human behavior on the internet. So back and forth with Google, and they just say, look, it's no problem, you're not being charged for it, it's just we spend more sometimes. And I don't believe that, for one. I think it's a glitch with the system, and it's something that we need to work out. So we're independently now working on this advert campaign to see, why this is happening and how we can make sure it doesn't happen and how we can understand it in the future. I sometimes really enjoy when things like this happen. It means that we can, break it apart and see what's going on and, know better for the future. But yeah, that's something that's going on, and look at that. Situation progresses, I will do my best to keep you informed, because I think this is something that if other people that I'm talking to haven't seen this, it's happened to us, there's something odd going on, and something that we can maybe share and add value to your AdWords. Something else that's become clear over the last few weeks, maybe not the last few weeks, maybe the last week or so, and I don't know why it's coming so clear to us now, and hasn't been over the 3 years that PDG has been running and the 10 years that I've been working in advertising, or digital at least. We don't count our customers enough. Customer numbers matter, and we're not counting them enough. And when I say we, I mean collectively anybody that's analysing advertising, or anybody that owns a business, or especially e-commerce customers, especially high numbers of customers. We have been working with a number of different businesses over the last 3 years, and not once have we ever, let me take a back step. So we create a dashboard that goes through customer progress every week. It's really simple. It's on Google Sheets, which is like Excel, and we just go through all the KPIs and metrics that we believe are important. And over these 3 years, not once have I ever said, you know what's important? Why don't we take down the number of customers that we have this week, and then look at the same figure next week and see how much we've grown, so then we get an idea of what our customer growth rate is like. Not once have I or anybody that I've spoken to thought that was an important metric. In that time of 3 years and previous to that, I have worked with numerous agencies like myself, way bigger, some smaller, numerous freelancers, contractors like myself, bigger and smaller. Also, some really huge ad metric tracking technologies and e-commerce tracking technologies. I've heavily used Shopify, heavily used Google Analytics, heavily used WordPress, heavily used WooCommerce. I feel that without being big-headed or in any way thinking that we're great, I feel like we have seen a lot of systems, and we've seen a lot of things. But the one thing that we do not track anywhere is the number of customers week on week. And for some reason, this has come up in the last week about 3 times independently with 3 different customers. And when I look at it now, it is quite clear that we need to be tracking this for all customers, and that there's a mass miss somewhere in the industry, like on Google, even on Shopify, somewhere that's a real e-commerce powerhouse CRM. It doesn't show customer numbers. It makes me wonder if we if I have been missing this, or I'm not getting out there enough and not seeing enough about how other KPIs and how other e-commerce KPIs work, or if we're just so into it that we have uncovered something that's quite an important growth metric. When I say it out loud, counting your number of customers sounds really obvious. It has just been a miss from any reporting that we've ever done. And I tell you what, I am excited about the prospect of including that in future customer reports. Surely that's what we should be doing, and surely that shows the growth of a business overall. So really exciting, and really looking forward to sharing that with customers as we go forward. Guys, that's it. Again, 20 minutes on the PDG podcast, and it felt like 10 seconds. And I look forward to tomorrow's Good Friday. It's Easter tomorrow. Not tomorrow, it's Easter Sunday on Sunday, and Easter, this is Thursday today. So Good Friday tomorrow, and upcoming Easter Sunday, and then Easter Monday. So I think you're going to be listening to this in retrospect. So I hope you had a great Easter. And I look forward to sharing more of the journey of PDG Advertising. Again, get in touch, comment, share, like, reshare, whatever you want to do. Visit our sites, visit our social presences, and get to know us on there. Have a great rest of your day.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.